Hey everyone, rudyxx here with another review for the RPGalooza series. Recently I had some extra time on my hands, so I decided to play through the entire Final Fantasy XIII trilogy back to back to back. For RPGalooza, I only felt like covering the original game, but for those of you curious, Final Fantasy XIII-2 was the high point for me with the trilogy, with Lightning Returns being the low point. But I would have given all three games a rating of 3 out of 5 because they were all fairly mediocre games. I didn't have any major issues with any of them, but I also didn't really have any life-changing moments, so overall the experience was good, but not very exciting. In any case, let me talk about just Final Fantasy XIII for a moment. You start off the game as my two favorite characters in the series, Lightning and Sazh, as they run down what is my favorite aspect of the game, a very linear hallway. Now, a lot of people gave this game a really hard time because of the fact that it was basically a very direct and linear path as you went along the game with very little deviation until way later in the game. Now for me, this was the best thing ever because I hate deviating from the main course. I hate doing side quests in games unless it's a game I love dearly, and typically I won't even do these sort of things in my first playthrough of a game in general. I've always been told it's a real mystery how I can't stand exploring, and yet I play a lot of MMORPGs where you wander a forest aimlessly for hours with no real direction. And yet, that's not even remotely how I play MMORPGs either. I'll get to max level or end game or whatever as quickly as I possibly can, and then go back through and explore a bit if I feel like it. But for the most part, I enjoy taking a linear path to the end of any game I play as quickly as possible. Final Fantasy XIII features nothing but linear paths. There's basically one area towards the end of the game where you can explore if you feel like, but for the most part you can just skip that entire area and never return if you feel like it. I guess at some point in this review, I should also mention the fact that I had actually played this game before playing it for RPGalooza. I had not played XIII-2 or Lightning Returns before this, so I mostly played through it to help me remember the story before going on into those two games. I also should mention that at one point in time, I had started learning how to speedrun Final Fantasy XIII. When I originally played the game years ago, I didn't really feel like I completely understood the battle system. In fact, that was probably the major flaw I had with this game originally. A lot of people joke around about the game being a press auto battle to win mentality, but I had always felt like there was more to it beyond that. When I went into learning to speedrun the game, I had literally no idea what a run even was like mechanically. I had watched part of a run sometime beforehand, and to me they were just spamming through the paradigm shift button and doing all kinds of wacky things that didn't make the least bit of sense to me. While I spent a few weeks trying to learn the run, I never really got a good grasp of what was going on. I understood the buttons I was supposed to be pressing, but I never really understood why what I was doing was working or even what I was doing to begin with. For the most part, it just made me feel empty inside as I struggled through it. A year after all that is when I decided to do this playthrough of the game for RPGalooza. I had caught a number of speedruns from various speedrunners of the game, but I had decided that when I played through it again, I was going to use Lewd Dolphin's wonderful speedrunning guide to help me through it. His guide is exceptionally well written and features the very thing I was struggling with, which was the why and what is going on in every single battle. Since I was playing the game through casually, I fought literally everything on the path, so I was way overleveled, but going through his guide helped me to understand what was going on a lot better in the speedrun. At this point, I have no future plans of speedrunning the game itself, but thanks to Lewd Dolphin's guide, I have a much bigger appreciation for all the work that the Final Fantasy XIII speedrunning community has put together over the years. And I have a much bigger respect for the runners as the mechanics of the game really have a much deeper feeling to me than just pressing auto battle to win. So despite the fact that on the surface the game may be auto battle to win, there is a deeper level to it that I'm glad I've come to understand. All in all, I really enjoyed playing through the series. They all had their highs and low points. Final Fantasy XIII just kind of stayed roughly in the middle the whole way. Like riding along in one of the seats of a merry-go-round instead of on one of those horses that go up and down. It wasn't really bad, but my emotions just didn't really go anywhere. There's characters I really like, and there's characters I really don't like. There were some fun areas, and there were some not so fun areas. But all in all, the experience was pretty average for me. Thanks everyone for watching. If you'd like to follow along in my journey through a huge list of RPGs, feel free to subscribe to this channel. Or, if you'd like to follow along as I play through the games live, Feel free to follow my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/rudyxx. And until next time, happy gaming, everyone!